Tiger fans, all right. So, usually I want to do like This Week in Baseball, Tiger Baseball, where we do a whole recap. But since the season started on a Friday, we're just going to cut This Week in Tiger Baseball short, and we're only going to do a 3-game recap of what happened. And plus, I think it's kind of important that we just do the 3 games because this 3 games is pretty much, I think, it epitomizes the season. So, let's start with opening day. I got to go down there for opening day. You guys got to see the 2022 Detroit Tigers season preview video. If you haven't watched it, check it out. It was my last video before this video. My brother and I were in it. We both gave predictions of pretty much all the everyday regular guys that are going to be everyday regulars on the roster, and gave our thoughts on what we thought who was going to do what and what not. So it was a good video. It's a long video, but if you're interested in like more in-depth thing, there we go. So opening day came, and if you guys were down there like I was, if you were watching on TV, it had to seem like it wasn't a sellout. But the Tigers that day at Comerica Park, it was a weird day if you were in the stands. It was windy, and then it was sunny, and then it rained, and then it snowed, and then it rained really kind of like hard, and then the sun came out, and then it was cold. So it was a sellout, but most of the people were down in the concourse underneath trying to get cover from the rain and the snow. It was just a weird one. But Erod started the game. He got squeezed a little bit in the first couple innings, and pretty much the whole theme of this series against the White Sox is the White Sox scored early, they put pressure on the Tigers often, and they made the Tigers pitchers work. Erod did not pitch that bad. We lucked out that Lucas Giolito got hurt, and he got taken out after 4 innings with 60 pitches. He had some kind of weird abdominal strain, and of course, because he's my pitcher on my fantasy team, I'm going to lose him, and he was my 3rd-round pick this year, so getting screwed real quick right off the get. But Giolito came out absolutely dominated. Erod got pinched. He threw a lot of pitches. He threw 30 pitches the first inning. The White Sox had 3 on him up after 2 innings, but then he held it down until he got taken out. I think he went 4. And this game was the Tigers really couldn't get anything going. They had a couple scoring chances. Jeimer Candelario had a big hit that made it 3-1. But pretty much the whole game, and this is and I will preface this was my favorite opening day I've ever been to, and I went to 16, 17, I didn't go to 18, went to 19, didn't go to 20, and didn't go to last year's, because last year's was that weird COVID where fans could finally start to come in. So I've gone to a good chunk of them since 2015, and this was my favorite one I've ever been to. Ninth inning comes, and Eric Haas hits a game-tying 2-run shot off of I'm getting this mixed up. Miguel Cabrera in the 8th inning. So this was crazy. My brother can vouch for me. Miguel Cabrera's up with the bases loaded. They bring in Liam Hendricks. And I say to my brother verbatim, I'm like, Miguel Cabrera last year always attacked fastballs really early in the counts because he didn't like to get deep in the counts with runners in scoring position, because teams would try to get me over fastballs to get a quick strike run on him and get to their breaking stuff against Miggy and basically just try to strike him out. And they know him against velocity isn't as good as he used to be. So I was like, Miguel Cabrera is going to get a first pitch fastball here from Hendricks because they're going to try to jump him with a quick strike one, but he's going to hit it into right center field. And what does he do with the bases loaded? Hits it into right center field, scores a couple of runs, ties the game. Now, Andrew Vaughn comes up in the 9th and hits a moonshot. And Vaughn this series had a great series. Had a couple of bombs. He came in for A.J. Pollock in Game 2 of this series. He had a bomb today. So, Haas comes up in the bottom of the 9th. Again, I call it. I was like Tony Romo in this series. I was like, you got to be careful if you're Liam Hendricks giving Haas all fastballs, because Haas is a very good fastball hitter. What does he do? Game-tying shot made it 4-4. That proceeds to bring Austin Meadows up to the plate. Austin Meadows, who had a phenomenal debut series as a Tiger. Couple of walks. I think he had 3 singles plus an extra base hit, 2 walks. Looked superb in a nice play in left field. He had a great debut series as a Tiger. One of the bright spots of this series. So, comes up, hits a triple into the gap. Javi Baez comes up. Again, Tony Romo effect. I was like, Javier Baez is in a great position to hit a walk-off because he can't throw breaking balls because Meadows is at third and he can't risk bouncing a slider. So what does he do? Second fastball of the AB. He hits it. Pollock goes to jump up to catch it off the wall. It hits off the yellow part of the wall. It looked like it hit his mitt, and then he got it off the bobble, but it hit the wall. Walk off. The place went nuts. Absolutely berserk. My brother and I were there, and another friend of mine who I met off of YouTube like 10 years ago. There used to be a thing called the MLB TTC. And another guy on here used to do TTC videos, which is trash talking circles. It was absolutely stupid. It was more so for the NFL than it was MLB. Excuse me. But I met him at the game, and it was the first time we had met ever in real life. His name is Caleb. He doesn't do YouTube stuff anymore, but he's a big Lions fan, big Tigers fan, and we've known each other a long time. It was the first game we ever got to go to together, and what a game. Him, my brother, and I, we were all going nuts. The place was absolutely rocking. Amazing opening day walk-off. And the Tigers usually win. I think they've won like almost every opening day since 2011, and most of them have been walk-offs. But I think this is probably the most special one. It was so cool because the new guys made an impact with Baez and Meadows and everything else. So then we get to game 2 of the series. And this last 2 games of the series, I said this the whole time at the ballpark because people were getting kind of pissy about how the Tigers were playing. And people online, it's like, you're facing the White Sox. Their whole team is built on having a good bullpen. They have a good starting rotation. And their lineup is absolutely stacked. I mean, A.J. Pollock came out after his second AB in the series, in the second game of the series, and Andrew Vaughn comes in, and he played great. And Vaughn had 2 home runs this series. It's not going to be easy for the Tigers to beat them. And the starting pitchers, too. It was extremely cold at Comerica Park the first 2 games of the series. It's harder to throw your breaking ball. It's harder to grip the ball in general. Your breaking ball doesn't move like it normally is going to move in warm weather. And the ball, there were so many balls. Baez had a couple of balls that would be home runs if it was warm outside, like the one he hit for the walk-off. And he had another one in game 2 of the series, his first at bat of the series, of that game, where he hit it to the warning track. And in summer, that ball's gone. It's into the bullpen. Jamer got screwed by the cold. It's just cold. You know, the pitchers are only going to do so good in the cold. I mean, look at all the walks between both teams of this series. It's cold. It was for the second game of the series. That was one of the freaking coldest damn games I've ever been to. And I went to the coldest game in Comerica Park history. But that one, the wind was whipping so bad. The sun never came out. It was cloud cover the whole game. It was cold. And Casey Mize came out, much like Erod, struggled, had one bad pitch in the first inning. He could have got out of the jam, but allowed 2 runs to score. They ended up hanging 2 on him, and then he ends up pitching 5 really good innings. But the Tigers' offense just wasn't there. He made 3 mistake pitches. The one where he allowed 2 runs in the first. He gave up a leadoff triple to Josh Harrison and then ended up stranding him, which was outstanding. And then he gave up a home run to Yasmani Grandal. That was really about it. And he pitched really well. I mean, he made a lot of tough pitches. After the first inning, he was cruising until the 5th when they eventually got him out. And I mean, that was pretty much it. The Tigers squandered some scoring opportunities in this game. They really didn't hit with runners in scoring position at all. And they lost 5-2. And that's the White Sox. They're a great team. They're a scrappy team. They hit the Tigers early in all 3 games. They got runs in the first innings in all 3 games. Dylan Cease has continued to own the Tigers since he came into the league. He's like 9-0 against them. And he's had his longest career start against the Tigers. He has like a 2 ERA against the Tigers. He's a Tiger killer. And he comes out every single time, and he absolutely destroys us. And he destroyed us again in game 2. But this is what a good team does. Early offense, good pitching, good bullpen pitching to back it up, and they continue to pile on. Their lineup was deep. And in the first 2 games of the series, I think we were lucky because we might have got swept if Tim Anderson played this whole series, because game 3, Tim Anderson comes back. Tarek Skubal, he was trying his best to make some pitches, but the White Sox were all over him. He missed location quite a few times, had some walks, and then Tim Anderson existed. And Tim Anderson, just destroys the Tigers. Absolutely destroys the Tigers. He had a triple and a double. He was 3 for 5 this game with a strikeout, but he had big hits right off the get, constantly on base in leadoff innings. He was just a pest this last game, and you see what happens. Vaughn had a home run this series, another home run, this game, and the game was essentially over by the third inning. The Tigers got one run off of a Victor Reyes triple, and Miguel Cabrera scored from first, and I think it was 4-1, and that was pretty much it. I came home. I wasn't at this game, and of course, I go to opening day, and then the second day of the series when it's absolutely icebox cold outside, and I don't go to the third game because today here in Dayton it was actually nice. It was 60-something degrees, and in Comerica Park it was a sunny day. It was 50-something degrees. So today would have been the day to go if you're going to pick weather-wise to go to the game, but they got wrecked, and I think a lot of this has to do with, pitchers are still behind. Really, there was only a couple pitchers in spring training that even got close to 20 innings. Erod was one of them. But in the league in general, you already seen the White Sox are already hurt by injuries. Giolito's gone for 2 starts. Lance Lynn's gone for up to 6 weeks. And in the league in general, guys are going down already because it's a shortened spring training. Guys went from 0 to nothing in 3 weeks, and now here they are after only 3 weeks of camp. Pitchers have only pitched maybe 12, 13 innings, and now they're out there throwing 80 pitches, and some of these in cold climates, and they're getting hurt. And it just is what it is. And, you got to look at this game. This series, take it with a grain of salt because the White Sox are a potential World Series contending team. And the fact that the Tigers took one, I'm happy with because I didn't expect them to take the series. The White Sox are that good. And I said this in my Tigers season preview video. They're above and beyond better than anyone in the division. They're one of the best teams in baseball. How deep their lineup is, how good their starting pitching is, how good their bullpen is. They play good defense. And this game was a game where you could still see how young the Tigers are and some of the, the kinks that got to be worked out defensively. Javier Baez missed a ball. There was a ball in the center field where four guys went for it. Scope, Reyes, Haas, and I forget the fourth guy, and Castro, and no one caught the ball. And then I think, so there was a throwing error in this game. And this was just one of those games where you see, look, the Tigers still have some young guys. The Tigers are a team that, has a lot of new players, and there's still some kinks to be worked out. But you know something? As long as they don't go 9-23, they get out of this month 1 or 2 games under 500, 3 games under 500, I think that's a win because it's cold outside. Guys are trying to get innings underneath them for the first time, like actual innings, 4, 5, 6 innings instead of 3 and out. And you throw 45, 60 pitches. Now guys are trying to get up to 90 in 6 innings, 5 innings. So this month of April, I'm looking almost as like an extended spring training because that's what it is. Guys aren't going to be stretched until really close to the first week of May because by then they will have had 4 starts of, hopefully 4 to 6 innings and 90 pitches consistently, 90 to 100 pitches consistently every time, and then May gets a little bit warmer. But I know most people are kind of upset because of the heroics on opening day. And then the next 2 games of the series, the offense squanders. And, today they get absolutely blown out. But you had to take it with a grain of salt. If you thought the Tigers were to come in and smack the White Sox, a team that has World Series aspirations, is one of the best teams, not even just in the American League, in the entire game of baseball, you're sadly mistaken. You have Spencer Torkelson. I want to touch on him real quick. You got a rookie playing his first series ever in the big leagues. You got Javi Baez, who's strikeout prone as hell, who had quite a few strikeouts this series. He had a lot of contact and had some big hits, but he had some strikeouts. Austin Meadows is getting acclimated to his situation. Jonathan Scope, he had a couple of hits, but he's going to strike out a little bit. Miguel Cabrera is going to strike out a little bit. You got a lot of strikeouts in this lineup, and you got a lineup that's still gelling together. Guys figuring out where they're going to be. You got injuries already with Green, and, some of the reserves have barely played, and they were finally getting some ABs for the first time. Like Garneau got his first AB, and Castro got his first AB, and Victor Reyes got his first start. And Akil Baddoo was terrible this series. Baddoo, he took all his good swings in spring training, and then, he struck out 4 times in 2 games, and, Hinch sat him for Reyes, and it paid dividends. Do I think Badu is going to not be the starting center fielder? No, absolutely not. But like I said, it's early. These guys are still getting their timing, and that's the thing about what I wanted to touch on about this Torkelson. Torkelson's first game, you could definitely tell that he was nervous. And he did a couple of things I didn't like that I noticed at the ballpark. The thing I didn't like is he yelled after a strikeout, and a strike three he didn't agree with, and he had a couple of strikeouts where he hit his bat on the ground. Now, if you're a rookie and you're someone that's trying to show that big league pitching is not overmatching you and is not, in your head mentally, that's the kind of things you don't do as a rookie, at least to me. I could be wildly incorrect about this, and it could be a stupid take. But to me, if you're a guy who's only been in the minor leagues for a singular year and you make the team out of camp because you're hitting so well, he had 5 strikeouts off spring. He's had 5 strikeouts in his first 3 games. Now, he's also had 4 walks. After that first game, where I think he's seeing the ball well, and I don't think he's overmatched. I didn't like the body language, and I didn't like the antics with the swearing and slamming his bat down on the ground because, like I said, you're in the big leagues. You've been in the minors for 1 year. You're trying to prove that you belong at this level. And I said this in the preview video. Torkelson has struggled at every single level he's ever been to right at the start. But after about 25, 30 at-bats, he really turns it on. And I think that's what he needs. And Hinch is doing a very good job of putting him out there every single day so far. He might get a blow tomorrow against the Red Sox. He might get a blow the second day against the Red Sox. But there is a day he's going to be sat. I think tomorrow is going to be his last start. And if he doesn't get a hit in his next start tomorrow, then he's probably going to get sat for a day. Just let him recoup. But on the topic of Torkelson, his first day, he had 2 pop-ups, and they were pitches I think he knew he should have hit. And I think some of this is a timing thing because he had pop-ups. It's not like he was striking out and he's way late. He was just underneath it, just off the ball, and he popped it up. And it wasn't like the swings he was taking was wild, uncontrolled swings, which, to my point of, if you look at the last 2 games of the series, he drew 3 walks. He didn't have 4, He drew 3 walks, which means that he's seeing the ball well, he's recognizing the ball, and he's not going away from his approach at the plate. He's still doing what got him on the big league roster out of camp to begin with, which was his at-bats against Garrett Cole, where he had a 10-pitch walk, and he had another 8-pitch walk, and he had a home run off of Aaron Nola. He only had 4 or 5 strikeouts in 27 or 28 plate appearances. Now, he's less than, 11 for his big league career, and he's already got 4 or 5 strikeouts already, which I knew that was going to be the case because it's not like where he's in the 5th inning of a spring training game and he's not facing the team's best pitching now. Now he's getting that starter for 5 innings, 2 or 3 at-bats, or he's getting someone like Liam Hendricks up there where it's just straight nasty from the 1st inning to the 9th inning. You don't have any kind of relief. I think he does have 5 strikeouts because he got struck out in his last at-bat today. But for him to have that many walks, for him not to be sitting there taking wildly uncontrolled swings, and the couple times he has put the ball in play, they were pop-ups, I think it's just a timing thing. It's not a pitch recognition thing. It's not that he's overmatched by the velocity of the pitching or the guy's stuff. I think it's solely a timing thing, solely getting his feet wet, solely needing to see X amount of pitchers, X amount of pitches, get X amount of at-bats. You had to gauge for the speed of the game, try to slow the game down, not try to do too much at the plate, and not try to get 4 hits with 1 swing, I think is what his approach is right now at the plate. Which, yes, he did strike out quite a bit, which you would expect for someone who's been this was his first Major League Series. But the fact that he drew all those walks, the fact that he didn't have crazy-looking swings, the fact that he didn't look overmatched, I think it's a timing thing. Needed to see more pitches, and the hits are going to come. But if he doesn't get a hit tomorrow against the Red Sox, I think he gets sat a day to let him kind of just. But I do like the fact that he got those walks. I don't like when he's hitting his bat on the ground and stuff like that. I think he needs to just kind of, be business, do the old Hunter tie thing like they used to do at second base when they get doubles, and just kind of like make it seem like he's been there a little bit more before. Because to me, if he continues to strike out, say this next series he racks up 5 more strikeouts, and now he's got 10, and maybe over his first 30 at bats, he's 2 for 28 with 12 strikeouts. And he slammed his bat on the ground a bunch of times, and he's swearing a bunch of times. To me, that's just being destined to get optioned to AAA. Hey, kid, you're hitting 112. You're striking out over half your at-bats. You do have 7 walks, but you're striking over half your at-bats. It looks like you're a little bit frustrated at the plate. We want to put you down at Toledo for a couple weeks, let you get your timing back underneath you, let you see a little bit, not as good pitching to help you get your confidence back, and you'll be back up pretty soon. And if that happens, it happens. It's not like he's going to be a bust. There was a guy named Max Scherzer that he got his shit rocked. I was at the game, and I've said this story a million times in here, and I'm regurgitating. I was at the game where David Ortiz took him twice in 2 innings, and he was so bad that the Tigers optioned him down to Toledo for a week. And you know what he did? His first start back up, he struck out 13 Kansas City Royals, and he never went down to the minors ever again. So it just happens. Guys get up. Jared Kelenic got optioned. He was clearly overmatched when he first came to the big leagues. He got optioned. Wander Franco, before he had that crazy on-base streak, he had his good first game, and then he struggled a little bit. So it's not like by sending him, if he were to get sent down, it's not like we're saying that Spencer Torkelson's a bust or Spencer Torkelson's not going to be good. But, he might need a little bit more time. But I don't think we're at that point yet. My point is, just we need to knock off a little bit of the body language, not show any kind of frustration. It's a frustrating game, I get it. But you're a pro. You're a 1-1 pick. You made it to the big leagues in a singular year. He's a hell of a ball player. He's got a lot of pop. Already shown the ability to draw walks, like he's been able to draw walks off of some really good pitchers, like he did off of Kopech today. That's a hell of a thing. And it's showing that he's staying his approach. So, and I'm happy with that. But overall, the general consensus of the series, you guys as Tiger fans, take a deep breath. This is a really, really good team. It was really cold outside, and the Tigers pitchers did not look that great for the most part. But they were playing a really good team. It was cold outside. These guys are still getting stretched out. I'm going to make every excuse in the book on this one to not have a wild panic that people want to have wild panic for. Simple as that, straight up. I'm an excuse maker, damn it. I'm going to make it for this one. Normally, I don't make excuses for this team, but I'm going to make excuses for them this time because it was the first 3 games of the series. It was the first series. They're playing a World Series contending team. Just calm down a little bit. We don't need 9. As long as we're not 9-23, I'll settle for 4 games under 500 coming out of April. I don't care. Just calm down, guys. First series. Now they play the Red Sox next. I don't know who they play after that. But I'll be back next week to do my series recap for the rest of this week. Talk about what was going on in the team. Hopefully we're talking about a couple of Spencer Torkelson hits. Hopefully Austin Meadows keeps coming out and hitting like he's hitting. Javi Baez hit very well this series. Robbie Grossman had some really good swings. Chambers come out and continued his really good at-bats. He had a lot of nice swings, even if some were flyouts. He had some really good swings. Haas, like I said, guys, about Haas at the start of the year, we got to keep that bat in the lineup. And that's why I said this from the start of spring training. Don't matter if he's out there and left a couple days a week. Don't matter if he's, subbing every other couple days for Tucker Barnhart. You got to keep him in there. And opening day proves my point even more why he's a great power hitter. So I'll be back. Red Sox are next. Calm down, Tiger fans. It's the first 3-game set of the series. White Sox are really damn good. It's going to be okay. Have a good one, guys. Go Tigers.